So in this video I installed a new garage door opener. Actually I paid to have it installed. But anyway, they use the old cable lines going to the new sensors. And what you can see here is they have 4 lines coming back to the operating unit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce that down to 2 wires. 2 different spellings. So I'm going from 2 wires to a T-bar, and then I'll split off from there. Let me show you my T, or let me show you my splitter. Alright, so I have the cable running along the rail, and it's going into a splitter. And the splitter, I'm actually reversing it, so the 2 wires are split into 4. And then the 4 wires go up into the T, and then split to the left and to the right. Now I need to do the left side as I'm looking at it. And what I want to show you is, you see there's the old lines, the white lines. I'm going to a black line which has a red and a black in it, as opposed to the white lines that has a white wire and a white with a black tracer. So anyway, so the white with the black tracer just kind of ran over here. Let me zoom out. Just ran over here, you know, it just goes wherever and all the way down, and you can see my track on the left and the old wire on the right. So this is, I finished the right side, this is the left side, and I'm going to make them the same. So let me show you the right side and what I came up with. So here's the original 30-year-old wire that they reused on the new install. And I came down here and I came into a connection and I tied it into the new sensor that way. Now I left quite a bit of wiring on there. I really don't want to cut that short. I'm going to hide it in the future because like I said earlier, I'm going to move this bracket over closer to the rail, because the original one was attached directly to the rail. You've probably seen those where they just clip on here and then you put the sensor on there. So I'm definitely going to move this over, and the reason is this has been hit a couple of times. We have some construction going on, guys bringing in boxes and stuff, and it's just getting blasted. They keep hitting it, and of course, you know, when it can't see the other sensor, the door will not close. It'll open, and it will not close. So let me go to the other side and clean it up, make it look like this. Okay, I have the 2 sensors by the door hooked up, and I made the runways look identical, so nice, neat, professional looking. I still left the old wires in place in case something goes wrong and I need to check all my connections. And now I'm going to wire up the control module here, take out the 4 white wires and put in the black wire without going into all the little details. Alright, when I got up there I noticed the light was flashing, and then I remembered when the light is flashing there's something wrong with the sensors. So when I hook up the red and black wire and disconnect the 4 white wires there, if it goes solid, then we're golden. Alright, now I did want to make one little quick comment. Maybe I'll edit this out, but I'm not gonna, I've disconnected the white wires. I'm not gonna show the hookup because my hands are gonna be in the way. However, one of the places the wire goes in, it's marked black, so I'm going to make that black my common, and then the other one is white, so I'll hook up the red wire to that and hopefully it will connect. All right, there you can see my solid light, and you can see the red wire connected over there on the right. You can also see the black strip. So the wiring is such that it doesn't matter which way you have it as long as it's the same throughout the whole system. Let me show you the schematic. Okay, so let me show you the wiring. It is in section 6. 1, 5, 5, 6 connection. Connection. Oh, it's on. Thought it was on 2 pages. Yeah, here we go. This one's better. So what we see is the connections were showing common and signal. I made black common and the red signal. And there's the schematic right there. So you go common all the way over, that's the same side. Then you have signal coming all the way over, it's the same side. And then you have a transmitter and receiver. And transmitter and receiver, I have the transmitter on the left and receiver on the right. I can show you that. So there you have the transmitter as indicated by the green dot, and then I will show you the receiver, which has a red dot. All right, there is the receiver. Now I'm going to break the signal with my foot here. See, it went out. Now it's reestablished. All right, and then I'll clean up all these wires and get them out of the way so it's not ugly anymore, and I can have a nice, pretty runway enclosed wiring system. There's actually a wire lock on there. I'm not going to show it. Well, maybe I will show it. You can see the red on the left and right in the back here. Towards the top of the screen, one for the power line, and I use the other one for the sensors. So I'm going to clean all that up and finish up the job. All right, I'll put the cover back on and wrap it up. All right, the screw on the back kind of looks like a Phillips, but actually it's a square drive, so you know, details. Okay, time to remove all that white wire and the white with the black trace, and we will have a nice, neat wiring system. The power line I'm going to deal with later. What I'm probably going to do is route it to the plug and then shorten it. What I'll do is I'll cut it, put a new plug on the end, and customize it. Since it's a permanent installation, I also thought about taking that wrap and having it wrapped up over the control box. I just don't know how much interference that's going to be, as it'll be right above the coil. My apologies if this looks out of place. These are my leftovers. These I purchased separately. I needed a 1 into 2. You know, typically they're 2 into 1. I mean, you can think of it that way. The sensor's going to the control box. Whatever. Here are my cord hiders. Now you have to be very, very careful. They come in all different sizes. I got the smallest one I could. And you want to note that the 6 is the outside dimension. The inside dimension is much smaller. My wires were extremely small. I've seen a lot of reviews complaining that it was too small for what they were trying to do. So that's my only thing there. Also, I only saw one vendor that was selling more than 18 inches or whatever the heck this thing is. 15.7, so 16 inches. So you need to, you know, convert inches to feet, figure out how many feet you need. You know, I needed 7, 7, and 15 on one side, so that's, you know, 28 to the Y, and then 15 to the box. So anyway, that left me with a few pieces left over, which is fine. Alright, so that's all I wanted to talk about for the connectors, and then I'll do my wrap up. Alright, here's another editing insert. Sorry if it seems out of place. Anyway, here are all my bits and pieces that I have left over. What happened here is the paint, you know, 30-year-old paint, I stuck to it and then it fell off because I needed to stick it to something other than 30-year-old paint. So there's those, and then I had to do a lot of trimming. You can see all the little piece parts trimming. I just used a hacksaw, but that's something you may not have thought about when you purchase these hide-a-wire things. You know, they're not going to be the exact length that you need, so you may have to trim. I was able to hide a lot of it with connections because, you know, you can adjust these, you know, all the way in, a little bit out to about right there. You have about, what, ½ inch you can adjust if you need to put a connector in there. You know, same thing with the covers. You can have a little gap. You know, you have a little gap. You can hide it with the cover.